The dry seasons have passed, and with its passing comes the plentiful wet season. Heavy rains have already made landfall, refilling most of the island's rivers and lakes. A rustle can be heard from the plains to a river. A young male Stupahadros makes his way to the water's edge. He is currently attempting to catch up to a nearby herd. He spent the entire dry season alone. Multiple times he could have been killed, but he was lucky enough to survive to see the start of the rainy season. He stops at the riverbank for a drink, and after that he'll have to cross the river. As he is drinking his fill, he doesn't notice a subtle commotion. A group of Mimbilu quickly exit the water, and the crocodilians dash away. Still he does not notice, and the young Hadrosaur takes the plunge into the river, attempting to get across. He's in the middle of the river now, and it is eerily quiet. He suddenly felt something touch his leg. Looking down into the water, he sees nothing, and takes his head back out. Just above the water, a few more meters and he'll... Out of nowhere, he feels a sudden and overwhelming sense of pain from his leg. He is being attacked. And he squirms and panics, calling for help. Nothing but the pain and his blood spreading across the water answers. For a few minutes he struggles and flails before his strength gives in, and he feels his whole body being dragged underwater. He attempts to catch sight of whoever or whatever is attacking him, but before he was even given the chance, he felt an even more incomprehensible pain on his neck. He can feel something sharp digging deep inside of his neck. His air pipes are snapped and torn to shreds, and his entire body stops, the pain fading away, but everything turning dark. He became yet another victim to the unseen killer of these waters, a tyrant whose rage burns hotter than the sun itself, and its body big enough to stop the flow of rivers. It is the uncontested king of the swamps and rivers of Cryptalia. The Mokele Mbembe earns his meal.
Mokele Mbembe are large 6 to 7 ton Spinosaurine semi-aquatic ambush predators. They are the #1 top predators on the island swamps, lakes, and rivers systems of Cryptalia, with only sauropods being truly safe from these terrors of the waters. On average, males may grow up to 7 tons of weight. However, larger 8-ton individuals have been noted to have existed at some point, and even 9-ton legends that once existed thousands of years ago. But the island was once home to a now long-lost civilization, with only some of their art and literature left, and a few other things to remember them by. Art left by the many civilizations depicts other animals as gods or guardians, or fierce warriors of balance. But most of the animals who live in the swamps are seen as harbingers of death and disease. The Mokele Mbembe, chief among them, said to bring darkness and death everywhere it goes. With a length of around 16 meters for males and 14.5 for females, and weights up to 7.4 tons for males and 6.3 tons for females, respectively. Despite the size, they are great at navigating through the waters of the island, slithering their bodies along in most pure silence. Usually, if their head can fit through, they'll just ram their whole body through any obstacle in their way. Despite their adaptations and excellent navigation skills in the water, however, they are not good swimmers, but rather bottom waters, like hippos. Mokele and Mbembe can hold their breaths for hours at a time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to catch prey. They often even sleep in their waiting position and poke their noses out to breathe automatically, like hippos do. Males are often identified by their long, sharp crests and colorful ringed necks, the colors ranging from red to yellow, with their throats having a mix of reds, yellows, and oranges, same as their crests. Females are typically smaller and are far more docile than the brutish males, who do not hesitate to fight each other at any given opportunity. During the dry season, when other monarchs tend to run rampant across the island, the rivers and lakes and even the swamps to a degree lose a lot of water, forcing the adult Mokele Mbembe to go into hibernation. However, it is very rare to see these adults in caves or caverns around or near dried out lakes or rivers. Instead, adults of the species will go into a deep underground cave system covered by water, with set caves leading into an entire different underground ecosystem, and sleep there until the rainy seasons return. The ironic thing, however, is that these caves are the very same caves that saved their ancient ancestors from the end Mesozoic extinction event, as they stayed down there and returned back up to the surface once the overworld was safe to venture out. And these are the very same caves that... Meanwhile, the dry season is when young Mokele Mbembe can take full advantage of the lack of adults. They're big enough to bully most other animals while also being small enough to survive on their own, and survive on feeding the now large trapped fish in ponds and lakes that have dried up. The Mokele Mbembe are ambush predators. How they hunt is they usually poke their noses out of the water or lay in wait, completely concealing themselves in the water to wait for nearby prey to go too deep. Once they detect prey, they lunge at set prey from the water, but don't reveal themselves. They grab whatever limb is closest to them and just hook their teeth into the flesh of their prey and just sit there, anchoring themselves to the lake/riverbed. And wait for the prey to tire themselves out. And once said prey is tired and start to sink, they pull the animal deeper into the water and go for the neck, cutting the windpipes of their prey with their long, saber-like tooth that was also used for hooking and not letting go of their prey. Once that animal is dead or stops moving, they begin to feed. This tactic can be dangerous, however, but adult Mokele Mbembe need not worry, as they have multiple layers of armor protecting them. The exterior has hard osteoderms protecting them with hard scales right under them, and above their super thick, strong, and dense bones are not just high amounts of muscle, but also a keratin-like structure giving the animal more protection, meaning that if whatever prey they are trying to kill attempts to fight back, and if the prey manages to get a hit or two on the Mokele Mbembe, the animal won't even flinch. The eyes of the Mokele Mbembe are also protected by a hard layer of skin, but if need be, the Mokele Mbembe can move their eyes to the back of the head to ensure it doesn't get damaged. Male Mokele Mbembe are highly territorial, especially during the mating season. It is common for males to fight over mating rights and territory, and these fights are extremely deadly and chaotic. Bites, neck bashing, clawing, and even body ramming underwater are the fighting styles of these swamp tyrants. Because of this, though, Mokele Mbembe have evolved highly dense and thick bones covered by layers of fat and tough skin to resist all but the most devastating of attacks. However, the last move, the body ramming, being a very risky and dangerous move for both combatants, as despite all this armor, a 7.2-ton animal throwing themselves on you is still a very dangerous move and could potentially cripple both animals. Usually, however, males resort to just biting and clawing at each other, as neither really wants to sustain an injury so bad to be a death sentence, though chances are the fight will result in a lot of bloodlust for both combatants, and though this is a slight common occurrence after these fights, some of them will lay dead, or at the very least, massively injured. However, if the two combatants were to survive their brawl, they won't have much to worry about, despite the fact that the injuries, even if deep, it doesn't take long for them to heal, though still, 2 weeks of not being able to walk properly is still not good. And of course, males who win these battles will get the females. Males who have larger crests and more scars on their body tend to be a bit more attractive to females. Males will wave their heads and neck around in the first act of a mating display, and if the female is interested, she will mimic his movements in kind. The male will then show his throat and dewlap and put its colors on full display and let out a low rumble. If the female is interested, she would lower her head and rumble deeply in return. After this, the two will circle and the female will show her side, signifying she is ready and willing to mate, and, well, we all know what happens next. Males do not take part in any of the parenting at all. That is for the females to do, and she has to protect her clutch of eggs of 16 or so from all sorts of predators, the weather, environments, and of course, others of her own kind. Sometimes, females who mated with the same male will tolerate each other and even nest close by each other, but other than that, the females are on their own. The eggs are usually laid in a nest made of mud by the female near a body of water. Smaller rivers, streams, and pools are usually preferred. Once the eggs hatch, the babies are almost mini versions of the adults and in just 10 to 30 minutes are ready to walk and run. Once they are ready, the mother will lead them to the small body of water she chose to nest nearby at and start feeding herself and her young. Though, feed her young in a sense that she just takes them to the body of water where the babies will begin hunting and eating anything they can get their little grubby hands on and on their own. They have to feed as much as they can as they only have 1 to 2 years before the mother kicks them out or worse, eats them. Once they reach 1 to 2 years of age, however, they have already reached 30 kilograms of weight and are already hunting most of the fish in the water, which they can easily catch, and even catch lizards and snakes on land. Young Mokele and Mbembe are actually capable of semi-bipedal movement for short yet fast travel. Once they reach their adolescent years, Mokele and Mbembe are capable of hunting animals around in the 300 to 500 kilogram range, as the younger animals still live in small groups of 3 to 5 individuals and hunt together for food, usually ambushing things around the water, and if need be, continuing the chase onto land for a short period of time before moving away. There was once an incident involving the Mokele and Mbembe in the Republic of the Congo in 1964. A town was having trouble with their water not coming from the pipes like it should be. Thinking there was something clogging the big water pipe systems, they sent a team to go fix it. However, the said pipe was located in a rather isolated area where frequent conflict was spotted, so a group of armed men also followed the crew, who were meant to fix the pipe problem. Little did they know that their pipe problem was the least of their worries, as when they arrived at the location at night and shined their flashlight at the pipe system, a huge mass arose from the underbrush and let out a mighty bellow, frightening the men to their very core. In a panic, the armed men start shooting the beast, and the creature seemingly only became more irritated and angered, and it smushed one person with its massive weight and bit down on another person before tossing them away. 2 people were unfortunate enough to be next to its massive tail, and they were tossed aside to the walls. The beast looked like it was straight up rose to the pits of Tartarus, and came forth to bring these people's souls down to the bottomless pits of hell for eternal damnation. It was only an hour later that people with proper equipment came to the pipes and dealt with the beast, killing it with a few shots to the head, but not before the creature claimed 4 more lives and injured several. This was the incident that was the final evidence required for a group of scientists and explorers to launch an expedition to that one strange island near the African continent, as it is believed animals of similar appearances and description, and many more, lived there. Thus, Cryptadia was finally being studied for once, ever since its discovery in 1913. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. This has been by far like my actual favorite video to work on. As you can tell, since the Mokele and Mbembe is the flagship of this project, I just had to make sure the video did it justice, and I think it did personally. I would like to give a big thank you to the people who helped me out in this video. First, you have my friend Skylar Drakon, who did the narrating for the first bit, my good friend Sinfera, who made the first 2 soundtracks you heard in the video, and finally, to Shiny Gander, or Androbins, I believe. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name on Discord, but thank you for that amazing piece of fan art. I hope you don't mind me if I use this. I was originally going to ask you, but I didn't see you online, and so I was like, but I need this video. So, yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't get your permission. I'll fix it later if I don't. But, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. But Skylar, get the fuck out of here!
Fuck you!